After playing video games for almost 3 decades, one of my favorite producers has always been Nintendo, as their titles are usually full of hilarious moments that add a sense of joy across each and every series. Because of this, I knew I had to create today's video about the funniest moments in every Nintendo franchise, where I can't wait to show you guys some of the best ones that I remember making me laugh out loud when I first saw them. Oh yeah, and before I get started, my name is Copycat, and if you haven't yet, then please subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell button to stay notified when I upload new videos. The first franchise we're going to look at in this video is Nintendo's original and main character, Mario's, where I'd have to say that the funniest moment is the strange reaction the titular character makes when he thinks about seafood. This takes place during the opening cutscene in Super Mario Sunshine, where Mario and Peach are on an airplane watching a video that teaches them about their destination, Delfino Island. One of the segments talks about the delicious seafood that's available, and for some reason this triggers a very interesting reaction from the mustachioed main man. Part of me feels awkward seeing Mario in this state, but to be honest, I just can't help to laugh. The next franchise to be released by Nintendo is one of my all-time favorites in the Legend of Zelda series, where I'd have to say the funniest moment is where you play Saria's song in front of Darunia, and he begins a psychedelic dance number. It seems as if this almost happens out of left field, leaving Link looking really confused with what's going on with this strange Goron chief. To be honest, these creatures are pretty weird to begin with, as they eat rocks as their main source of food, and even Link's scared of them, as once you defeat the Dodongo, a Goron wants to hug you in thanks, and instead Link runs in terror. This particular section of the game always felt weird to me, which is definitely cemented with how strange these creatures are. The next franchise we're going to look at in this video is the futuristic platform shoot-'em-up Metroid series, where one of the funniest moments comes in the form of a code that you can input in the original NES title. Initially tried out by a fan as a joke that randomly turned out to be true, someone decided to input the vulgar code, "Engage Ridley, mother effer," where announced to them it actually worked and loaded the game in a weird state. Here when you start to play, the levels will be glitched, and oddly Ridley will have already been defeated, which just adds to the strangeness. This doesn't work in later released virtual console versions of the game, and I've even heard rumors that if you try this on the 3DS, then from time to time it can actually destroy your entire system. However, there's another vulgar code that you can input spelling out "mother brain, effing toast," which will load the game with Samus completely suitless but with Mother Brain already defeated. You can then finish the game if you're very careful with your ammo, going into the last boss fight with it not even being there, which is just an odd sight. Intentional or not, these are definitely a hilarious oversight by Nintendo. That's a company that usually tries its hardest to go away from anything controversial. Up next in this video is the Donkey Kong franchise, where without a doubt the funniest moments from these set of games is the rap theme song that plays every time you start DK64. Aptly named the DK Rap, this catchy tune introduces each character and their abilities in an extremely comedic way. I remember playing the entire game for the first time and actually laughing out loud when I saw it. Here's just a bit of a song for you guys to get a taste. Up next is the Fire Emblem franchise, where its funniest moments come in the form of weird conversations that characters have with each other, some which don't even make sense to the point that they become funny. One of these comes from the GameCube's Path of Radiance entry, where there's a conversation between the gambling addict Makalov and the Wyvern Lord Har, who seems to suffer from narcolepsy, meaning he will suddenly fall asleep pretty much anywhere. At first, Makalov wakes up Har for some reason to tell him that he's scared of him, then confusingly runs away for help. Har just gets annoyed and ends up falling back to sleep. Later, when Makalov returns, he apologizes to Har, explaining that he acted that way because he took him for a debt collector and that he has a very scary looking face. Har hilariously asks if he's calling him ugly, and Makalov sort of dodges the question, saying that he just has a very intense stare. Of course, at the end of the conversation, Har once again falls back asleep. In their final interaction, if you can even call it that, Makalov approaches Har while he's in a deep state of sleep, and tries to wake him up with no avail. Stupidly, he for some reason thinks that Har sleeping through everything was a form of intimidation, and maybe that he himself could use it against the debt collectors when they come asking for their money. Of course, once Har wakes up and sees Makalov practicing the sleeping technique, dreaming about asking Marcia for money, Har hilariously comments on Makalov's stupidity of sleeping before a big battle, seemingly unaware of his own condition. I'm not sure who's more of an annoying character in this situation. I'm not sure who's more of an annoying character here, but this situation is just a different kind of funny. Up next, we're going to look at the Kirby franchise, where the Kirby Battle Royale game added a copy ability called Sleep, which resulted in a very comical moveset for the character. That's because this Kirby is equipped with a pillow and a nightcap, using those items to attack your opponents, then put them to sleep. What's also hilarious is that if you don't move, then Kirby will eventually fall asleep and dream of eating cake, which somehow replenishes his health. It's crazy to think that fans had to vote this one into the game, and I hope in the future Nintendo realizes that people want goofier content. Next is the incredibly wacky Wario franchise, which I'd have to say is definitely one of the funniest Nintendo series that has a ton of great moments across its different types of games. However, one moment I find really funny is the character's interaction with the audience during the Wario World's pause screen, where he taunts you annoyingly with na 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 na. However, there's a funny secret that you can hear if you wait on the screen for 50 whole long minutes, where Wario will actually apologize for his irritating song with a simple "sorry." I have no idea why Nintendo included this insanely hidden Easter egg, but it's small funny inclusions like this one that makes their game so great. Next up is the Yoshi franchise, which really isn't known for its funny moments, but there is one joke's boss battle against Bert the Bashful from the Yoshi's Island set of games. That's because he's defeated by pulling his pants down so low that he dies from embarrassment, turning red and deflating like a balloon until he disappears. Even stranger is that in later games like Yoshi's Woolly World, you use Yoshi's tongue to unsew Bert's pants until there's nothing left. To be honest, I've played every game in the series and somehow didn't realize the strange detail that's actually pretty dirty for a kids-oriented Nintendo series. The absolute funniest thing about the Star Fox franchise is the way that every character for some reason puts down Slippy, who is the anthropomorphic toad mechanic of Fox's team. For some reason, this character is the punching bag of pretty much every situation, whether it be serious or a joke, which kind of comes across as bullying as the comments are relentless. One convo that always stuck out to me was when Falco pretty much laughs in Slippy's face when he finds out that he has a fiancée. Honestly, I was surprised by this too, as I always thought Slippy was a girl, especially as the voice actor for the character is a female. The Pokemon franchise is up next in this video, where there's one disturbing but hilarious detail that I recently found out about, which is that from time to time, regular people in Pokemon will get married. Being mentioned only briefly in a folktale book that can be found in Diamond, Pearl, and Platform's Canalave library, there's a text that reads, "There once were Pokemon that became very close to humans. There once were humans and Pokemon that ate at the same table. And it was a time when there was no differences to distinguish the two." This, of course, is its English translation that only alludes to the marriage of Pokemon and humans, where the true translation in Japanese reads, "There once were Pokemon that married humans. There once were humans who married Pokemon. This was a normal thing because long ago, people and Pokemon were the same." This admission led to one of the funniest conspiracy theories of all time, in which that people speculate that Ash Ketchum's dad is actually Mr. Mime, who is his mom's main Pokemon. This sort of makes sense, as there are many scenes of them together and you never see his dad, and they're oddly very, very close. Just saying. Next up is the Animal Crossing series, where hands down its funniest moments are the interactions you can have with the villagers on your island. Most specifically, the cranky ones. These characters are particularly hilarious as they always come at you with such dry, witty remarks, while displaying very negative emotions. I'd have to say my favorite of these villagers is Octavian the Octopus, who has the strange catchphrase in always saying sucker, which I think is supposed to be meant as a curse word. Villagers and their funny anecdotes are scattered across the entire series, and I'd love to know some of your favorite encounters in the comments below. One very funny thing that shows up in every Pikmin game are the characters' journal notes, where you can find some very interesting entries that really show the weird inside of these characters. However, in Hey Pikmin for the 3DS, you can actually scan your amiibos, and Olimar will write a small blurb describing each one. Some standouts in particular include him trying to figure out exactly what Yoshi is while noting that it makes no sense it would be born with a backplate and shoes, him suggesting to stay away from the purple inkling as it could be poisonous, him being jealous of Donkey Kong because he wears a tie, meaning he must be an office worker, him wondering whether or not Toad's head is a real mushroom, which honestly I wonder too, him spending basically the entire time trying to figure out if Animal Crossing characters are people or animals, and finally the best is when you scan his own amiibo and he becomes paranoid over how someone on the planet knows exactly what he looks like. Although not overtly humorous, the Pikmin series is full of small jokes like this one that do leave a lasting impression. Hands down the funniest and weirdest moment from the Luigis Mansion franchise takes place in the third installment, where if you look through a specific hole in the wall, then you can catch a ghost doing a very disgusting thing. This can be found on the 5th floor of the hotel, where things seem to begin innocently with the ghost brushing his teeth, then it quickly dissolves into madness as he transfers that same toothbrush to his behind. This is just straight up gross, and I really haven't seen many people talk about it, but I remember absolutely losing it when I first saw it. The first of the Nintendo multiplayer franchises we're going to look at in this video is Mario Kart, where one of the funniest things in this series is that there's a way to complete certain tracks without even touching one single control. This can only be done on 50cc, where if you turn both automatic acceleration and smart steering on, then all you need to do is put your controller down and watch the screen. This happenstance is of course based on a little bit of luck and a little bit of kart manipulation, but it really hammers home why both these features were some of my least favorite additions to the series, and are obviously a crutch to players who are newer to video games. Either way, when I experimented with my kart and tried this out for myself, I found it absolutely hilarious. Although there's several funny moments to be found in the Mario Party franchise, one I particularly liked was the overly provocative Bowser that can be found in the third entry of the series. For some reason, from time to time, Bowser will greet you in a very suggestive position seemingly for no reason, which is both hilarious and disturbing. Another weird Bowser sight that for some reason made me laugh when I saw it was when he shows up on the tricycle in Super Mario Party. I'm not sure why the King Koopa has devolved to such a childlike vehicle that you'd think it would be reserved for Bowser Jr. Up next on the multiplayer side of things is the Super Smash Bros. Fighting franchise, where the funniest moments definitely come from the character reveal trailers that really push the liberties of what we've come to expect from Nintendo. Some standout ones include King K. Rool absolutely yeeting King Dedede, Isabelle receiving a letter to join the party, King K. Rool, Diddy, and Donkey Kong sleeping together and being awakened by Duck Hunt posing as Banjo-Kazooie, then being destroyed by Banjo-Kazooie, Mario getting punched through the fourth wall and arriving in a Minecraft dungeon, and my all-time favorite is Sephiroth entering the Nintendo Smash Bros. Reality and one-shotting the game's final boss. I always love watching these trailers when they're released, as it really hypes up the new characters in a memorable way. The final franchise we're going to look at in this video is the collection of Nintendo Sports series, where the funniest moments come from the blooper reels in Mario Power Tennis for the GameCube. This is just sort of a strange meta joke, as for years, people have speculated that Mario characters are just actors, putting on an elaborate show for the player. There's just the right amount of weirdness to be funny, and I'll close this video out with some of my favorites. Alright, that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I really hope you did enjoy this one. If you did, please leave a like, comment below what you thought about it, and of course, subscribe to my channel. Also, please go follow my Instagram at Copycat Gamer. There I upload some cool clips and items from my collection that you won't see anywhere else. Hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!